first bit is
Apart
it'll be good
from
to hear.
me being awkward as fuck. Sorry, I swore.
It's all right. George, you are George. So remember, you are George.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm still objectively me.
Are you okay with this?
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
now
so
the subject, so you have to.
Yeah, there's not much I
He
can
could
really
have
do at
asked this
point.
question before we started. Inspiration Nation, hello. Lee Kemp here for another week on the podcast. As always, Jose Noya, Ryan Boniface. We're across all podcast platforms. Catch us on YouTube as well and check out InspirationNation.org.uk. How are we doing this week, guys?
Yeah, good, thank you.
we are good. Thank you. Thank you,
That
Lee.
is what I like to hear. Again, yes, thank you for everyone for listening, downloading, getting involved with what we do. Check us out on social media at Listen2IN, Listen2OIN. Right, Joe, it is your week for a topic this week. So what are we going to talk about?
It is. We are, well, I'm going to build on last week's podcast, with Ryan. So Ryan.
Get back in the archive, people who've not heard it, just head over again, InspirationNation.org.uk for the first part of this. Sorry, carry on, Joe.
Yeah, you will interrupt, but that's fine. The episode, getting your back right.
Aggressive.
Getting your back. So episode 143, right? That's right. Last one yesterday. So Ryan was talking about last week about some feedback, and I want to build on that. So Ryan, are you ready? Do you have three positions that you can position yourself in? Lee, can you stop laughing, please?
I mean, I'm in a box room, as you've seen for the past maybe 3 years.
Okay.
I can do my best. Let's run with it
Right.
and see what
Can
happens.
you do a crane stance, a downward dog, and we need one more position? So
Lee just showed us some yoga positions, just for everybody who's read that. Oh look, someone's got a crush on me. There you go. Look, there you go. I heart moths. Someone's got a crush on me. Great, lovely. Thanks for that, TikTok. Appreciate that.
No accounting for taste.
Hey, right. So Ryan, what I want you to do is get in three positions. So it can be first position, second position, and third position, right? So what I want to do is explore with you, provided you're up for this, the relationship you had last week where you got this feedback. I want to explore that a little bit more through something that I think will be very, very useful for you. But before I do this, are you okay with this?
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
now
so
the
what-
subject, so you have to be.
Yeah, there's not much I
He
can
could
really
have
do at
asked
this
this
point.
question before we started recording.
So Ryan, what I want you to do is there's be a first position where it's going to be you. Okay, so you need to be yourself. There's going to be a second position where I want you to stand up off your chair, move the chair to a little bit left side so you can actually stare back at your old position so you can imagine seeing Ryan. You're going to be the person that was giving you the feedback. Now, you don't have to tell their name. It'll just be, think of a made-up name, X, whatever, Bob, Jeff, whatever it is, because you're going to embody that person. You actually want to try speaking like them, mannerisms, how they would maybe hold themselves, so you would embody them, okay? So that's a second position. Let's be a third position.
Okay.
I saw that look, Ryan. And this is challenging. It is challenging. But I guarantee you, if you open your mind and really try this, it is really, really good. But you've got to be really open-minded about it. And the third position is where you sit back a bit in your chair, where you'll get up, sit back a bit, and then you look at both of those positions. So you'll see yourself and you'll see Bob, whoever you want to call, whatever name you want to use, and we'll be looking from a third position. And then I'll make sure you shake everything off so you can lose all the people that you've been being, come back to yourself, and then we will decompress. How does that sound?
I'm not a good actor, so I'll do my best with the second one, but
Exactly. It's just about doing your best and embodying as much as you can. Not acting, just imagining, I suppose. Okay. How do you feel about that? What do you think about it?
I'll give it a go.
Lovely. I love this. Brilliant. Okay, Ryan. So what I want you to do is I want you to maybe just stand up a little bit. Can you just stand up a little bit? Just stand up. Just want to get you a little bit of reset. Stand up.
Okay.
Stand up. I'll stand up with you.
The cameras do. Okay, all right.
Stand up now. Now, you are you, okay? You are you now, okay? So what I'm going to do...
You are you.
You are you. You are Ryan. I'm going to ask you set questions. They're all going to be set. They're all set. They're all written. So I just want to go through this with you, and then you just answer as you feel. So are you Are you ready?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, Ryan. Can you just tell me the name of the person that gave you feedback, not the real name or name you want to choose?
George.
George. Okay.
It's ambiguous of gender then as well, right? So
George.
could be anyone.
Like okay, this is great. Good. Okay, George. So we're talking about George. So, Ryan, I want you to be able to describe George and the issue from your perspective, Ryan.
What do you mean? Describe.
What you talked about last week about the feedback.
What, describe them as a person, or describe that situation, or
describe the person or that issue from your perspective about George.
Sorry, I'm still not sure I know what you mean. What, in terms of what happened? You want me to go over what happened again?
Yeah. So yeah, just describe the issue. What happened?
Okay. George gave me feedback that A, I'm not sure I agreed with, and B, feedback that I think even if I did agree with was probably a little hard. And what else did you want to know? How that made me feel?
Yeah.
I mean, at the time I disagreed with it, but that person is outside of my bubble, if that makes sense. They're not in my head, so you know they have a better Johari window of how they understand me and how I come across. But also on the flip side, they may not know really anything about me and may just be posing that opinion off of minimal interaction and based off of the conversations we had last week, their feelings on the day, the type of day they were having, etc.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with them?
Generally,
George. Yeah,
generally, good. Yeah. I feel I've done a lot for them. I feel that they are sometimes a hard person to please, but that isn't necessarily a poor character trait. They just have high expectations. They're somebody that, I developed a good working relationship with, and somebody that I care about, I guess, in terms of you have different hierarchy of people you know at work, right? You have people that you just nod at and say hello, Joe, I know blogs or whatever, I know you or whatever. You have people that you have a close working relationship with and you kind of value their input. I think that's probably what it is. I value their input on me because of the person they are.
Okay. Is there anything else you notice about the situation from your perspective, Ryan?
In terms of
anything you notice?
No.
Okay.
Not that I've already not mentioned.
Okay, great. Okay, what will you do now is I want you to stand up, move your chair.
So I just slide over. I just do this.
I want you actually physically stand up. Physically stand up. Stand up.
I'm a big fan of the standing up part in between, just for the
sit back down.
uncomfortableness.
And now sit back down in the chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm over here.
Now imagine you are now George. You're now looking back at Ryan. You can see Ryan. Okay.
Back in the frame of it. Yeah. Go on.
So you think what a beautiful view you've got right now.
You can see Ryan. Okay. All right. Okay. You can see him.
He has a bald spot on his head.
Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So, George, now remember, embody mannerisms, voice if you can, as much as you can, and how they would respond. So it's really about embodying and thinking, holding your body, how they would hold their body.
To be clear, I don't know this person. I know this person, but I don't know this person that well.
That's okay. You had an interaction, you picked up enough to be able to reflect their tone, how they were in that meeting, you know, from that perspective. So it's just doing your best with that, okay? All right, so George, can you describe this issue from your perspective about Ryan, what happened?
I feel this is difficult because I don't know their intention, do I?
It's okay, it's just doing your best. So just try and stay in that zone.
The situation was intended to give Ryan feedback on some work that they'd done in terms of their own development and some project work. yeah, the feedback I gave I thought was fair and honest.
Okay, George, how do you feel about Ryan? You know, looking at him.
Again, a difficult question to answer. I'm not that person, am I?
So you are George. You are George. So remember, you are George.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm still objectively me, right? But
no. You are
look,
George.
I can't just don a new personality.
You can just remember you're George. Just be George.
But it's not. It might not be true. What if it's not true? I don't know. Do I?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just what you. It's what you imagine that George is like. So, George, how do you feel about Ryan? What comes to mind?
Generally indifferent, knowledgeable, helpful. Relationships generally working. In terms of type, think they work hard. I think they know things that not many people do, and I think they're quite intelligent.
Okay. So,
sorry, I know this isn't me, but I feel like I've not said anything for a while and I feel left out. Not really. Can I add one more word that I know I've always heard from anyone in any circle, regardless about you, Ryan, which is potential.
Okay, go potential.
So remember, you're still George. Remember, thank you, Lee, for that. You're still George. So, George, how would you describe your relationship with Ryan, George?
I've kind of answered that. Professional. There are undertones of outside friendliness, but overarching vibe is that, or feeling is that the relationship is, works well. We get on. We, he does what is asked and works well in that. He can be a go-to person. I've used the phrase SME for certain subject matters, and I've used him well in that scenario. I think that's probably fair.
Okay, all right. What else do you notice about the relationship, George, with Ryan?
You're digging on something here, but I don't know what. I've answered. I don't think I've got anything more to add. What do you think I've got to add?
It's whatever comes to mind.
I'd ask again. Sorry.
What else do you notice about the relationship with Ryan, George?
He's eager to impress. He's eager to escalate himself. I mean, to be honest, Joe, at what point am I just saying what I want to say about myself, and what point is it true?
George, stay George. Stay George. Do not deflect. Stay George.
Okay. He has ambition that he wants to show. He works hard. He does a lot for people that aren't necessarily me. Which often goes unnoticed because he probably doesn't talk about it. But then again, how would this person know that if I don't talk about it? But they don't talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
This is really difficult because at what point am I genuinely just talking about me?
You're George. You're not
okay.
Ryan.
All right.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now what you do is when you stand up, move the chair back a bit so you can imagine seeing both George and Ryan. So stand up, go back a little bit. You're now George and Ryan.
So little musical interlude for moving chairs there.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate that. So from this perspective, you're both seeing now George and Ryan. You know what the issue was about the feedback. You've heard both people talk. So from this perspective, we see both George and Ryan, looking at the two people that you observed, what do you notice about this relationship,
disjointed, positive, but still disjointed. I feel that what one person wants out of the situation is maybe not what both want. I feel that, you know, I feel that one works hard to please the other, and that is noticed. But I don't know. I think Ryan or me or whoever is
say Ryan, yeah, it's good.
Is looking for guidance at this point, tapping in specifically to the potential word that Lee used, and he doesn't quite know where to start or go with that.
Okay.
Ryan's eager to impress, but finds that the person that gave the feedback is hard to impress, so probably feels like he bangs his head against a brick wall a bit. But that's just the way different things go.
Okay. So what can you see from this third objective perspective that is causing this dynamic to perpetuate, is causing it to continue?
I don't know. I don't know.
Looking at both these parties, is there anything that comes to mind when you're seeing them in front of you? Anything that's you notice?
The cause is no, I mean, not really. I mean, certain personalities gel with certain other personalities, right? And certain people gel with certain other people in terms of everything. So it might just be a professional mismatch.
Talk to me more about that professional mismatch. What do you think's going on with these two?
Well, I mean, there are always leadership. We've spoken about them enough on here about leadership styles and behavioral styles and learning styles, and they aren't always suited to work with each other. And that's a feeling that maybe comes across. Maybe what Ryan would want to show is not perhaps what George would want to receive.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else you didn't see before? What do you notice now that you didn't see before in extra?
What are you talking about to me now?
No, still third perspective. Is there anything else that you notice that you see? Is there anything else you notice?
No, but maybe that's because I don't really know what I'm looking for.
It's okay. Okay. So looking from this third perspective, what advice would you give Ryan to improve this situation about this feedback situation and this dynamic?
I mean, not to break the fourth wall again, but I mean, this is why I asked and brought it up as a subject, right?
I don't know. Stay there.
I don't.
Stay there.
Again, from my limited knowledge, I don't know.
So, from this third perspective, looking at both of them,
yeah,
you spoke about personalities. You spoke about some difficulty there about expectations. Is there, now you're looking at it from this, and you see them both in front of you, having had this conversation, is there any advice you would give to Ryan about this?
I mean, outside of the obvious that I'm sure he already knows. No, I mean, just because it doesn't work now doesn't mean it's not going to work forever. Just because you don't get on now doesn't mean you won't ever. Are one of you more likely to change your stance on the situation than the other? Mm-hmm. If so, is there anything you can do to help facilitate that?
Okay.
Otherwise, no, I think that's probably about it.
Okay. Lovely. You can now stand up, shake it all off. Stand up, Ryan. Shake it all.
I don't need to stand up. I'm here.
Shake it all off, or you just I just want you just to clear the air, right? So just clear it all down. I know it's super. I really, I just want to say, really proud of you.
It's not uncomfortable. It's just I'm too much of a realistic person. You can't tell me to pretend to be someone else because, as I say, at what point am I just saying what I think describes me?
Okay. So thinking about all the thing you've gone through, because it's the first time you've done it, right? So it's challenging. It is challenging. I get it. It's especially if you feel like you're a realist, you can. There's that perception you have of the world, right? I want you to think about this and think, what did you learn from that?
No, honestly, I'm not sure. I want to say not a lot, but I don't think that's fair. Because being the person that I am, I assess these things in their droves before conversations like this anyway. So in a roundabout way, I've kind of had this conversation. I've kind of thought about what position George was in when we had that conversation and kind of where they were, and with the guidance that we spoke about last week, it kind of opened that a bit more and kind of where that was. I can't have too much input in my own feedback session because it's already done, right? You're having feedback on something you've already done. You can't. It's not about what I'm doing at that moment in time. It's about what's happened before. So, yeah. Okay.
One last question. This is the last question. Thinking about everything that's happened and everything that you've done, what you've gone through, what would you do differently?
I mean, nothing, because I just received feedback, right? I can't tailor what somebody's going to say to me. Yeah, okay, my behaviors can affect how that person sees me, and that in turn changes that, but I can't change what they're going to think of me at that current moment in time. It's not. I'm not in court. I can't sit there and say, look, here's evidence 0.12 and 57 that explains I'm, not like this. At that point, that decision's kind of already made, right?
Yeah, you can't change what's happened, but it's because we talked about last week, and it was difficult for you, and you were still thinking about it.
I think it was difficult because it was just something I didn't expect. I think it was just difficult because it was something that I hadn't. That, as I said last week, I thought I'd boxed off, but I then learned that I hadn't. I think that was just the learning curve in itself.
So based on that, it's a learning curve. What is it?
But I'd learned that. What would I do different? I don't know. I'd probably reach that conclusion quicker. I don't think it's anything I'd change. Because if I change my input to that situation, I'm not going to get the feedback that I was due to get, right? So therefore, it's not ever going to be natural.
Who knows? We don't know that, do we? It's just thinking about that situation, thinking, what is there anything you could do now, based on what you've just gone through, that could help? That would do different.
Well, this already happened and implemented. If it were to happen again, I would. It's already, it's happened. It's not new. So, my barrier or my wall up to that or whatever is now built, I guess.
Is it?
Well,
is it built?
I mean, yeah. I mean, on past experience of things like this, yeah. I mean, you don't know until it happens, do you? You don't know if your wall's sturdy until someone runs into it.
Yeah. Okay. So it depends on how you see it, right? And that's how you're seeing it, right? You're seeing the wall, right? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, well, no, I don't visualize things in that way.
Okay.
I just know in my head that situation's done.
Okay.
That feedback's done, and I've learned from it, and I've moved on. Whether I value that opinion or not is a different question.
Okay.
And
do you value
in some respect, but I probably don't agree with the way they went about it or necessarily the full content of what they said, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything to learn from it. It doesn't mean there's anything to take away in terms of kind of how I see myself, and again, how that Johari window sees itself.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ryan, for that. Appreciate you going through that and trying that out. Appreciate it. Right, over to you, Lee. Having seen all this, what are your thoughts?
The first bit is it'll be good to hear
me being awkward as fuck. Sorry, I swore.
All right. 18+ box.
It always is when it's about you, though, and when it's unexpected. That's when you're being challenged, that's that thing. And I know what it feels like being in that position as well, and having sounded like you sound when it is that sort of thing. So I think it'd be good, because you're a reflector, just to hear thoughts on it for next week. And the exercise, Joe, just overall, without being too specific on it, I think, we've talked way back in the archives on the whole 3-person perspective thing. And it's a thing I like to challenge myself to try and use. Won't say I do it all the time, but it's that view. It's when you're communicating, is what is your view on it? How would the other person receive it? And how would an independent person view it? Which is a version of what you're doing. As I say, I use it for communication, but I think that's also really good of a reflective tool, just to get that view on it, because it is. And I have this sometimes, if I'm wound up about something in a personal professional situation, and I'll say with a professional thing, and I'll be like a bit like, because I'm my view, it's me, it's been done to me, or not necessarily done to me, but affecting my world or whatever else. And then I'll get someone else's view who doesn't have the same emotional attachment to it. And quite quickly now that drags me into a different place, because they are independent to the situation. And I've got some people who give me some quite strong feedback on that. Sometimes it can be quite challenging, but I think it's also what's needed to get that rounded view on things, because it is different than when you're in the situation. So I think that 3-person perspective thing is really good. And it's quite good to see you in action coaching and almost being able to be a spectator to that sort of thing, for which, Ryan, I do thank you for being the person who's subject to that, so we can view that as well.
Super brave as well, because it's really challenging. That is, I found when I was doing this, I found it really challenging, because you are literally just, and it's hard. I totally resonate with my, it's hard to be, because you're just trying to be this different person. But I found it really useful, and I've done this now with some of my family members, and it's really been powerful once you do it a few times, and it really is, because you talk about NLP books and all that, I talk about it. But actually, when you actually physically get up and do this, what I found the powerful thing in this situation, where you can try and think about it, but actually moving, I think, really helps. Like, actually, if you could have 3 chairs, I think it's even more powerful, because you can actually sit yourself in those situations. So, yeah,
I think, going back to what Lee said, I need to kind of get those people that are objectively outside of it. Like, professionally, you guys will say personally, I obviously have you two, and that's fine. But professionally, people that I would rely on are either too busy, because I know everyone's busy, but these people have their own, either A, their own people to look after, or B, are too busy to listen to my troubles. And the people that I would talk to on a daily or semi-daily basis, I don't feel, I mean, they're not, I don't think they listen to the podcast, unfortunately, but I don't feel they're the right people to have that conversation with.
Let's get them a link to the podcast.
I don't think they're people that I would want to have that conversation with, because not because I don't think their intentions are good or right. I just don't. Respect is the really wrong word, but I don't see them in that vein, I guess.
I heard a lot of beliefs in there as well, Ryan. I heard something like, these people don't have the time. They may not. These are the things we've really got to be aware of, because and I don't know these people. Lee, you're going to say something?
Yeah, and I'm doing my Lee thing just because my time has popped up. But I was going to chip in there and say my takeaway, and I'm going to recommend you, Ryan, and I'm just going to say it's good to soundboard. I did it today with someone. I phoned someone. I said, look, I've got a situation. I just need to soundboard with you. Can you give me your view on it? And it was really useful. So not saying, who or when you've said things aren't there, and not just for this situation, but I would advocate doing a bit of that. And I'm going to move us into wrapping up section here for our takeaways, if that's all right, guys.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, cool. Yeah, all right.
But it's good. I would definitely advocate that. And again, it would be good, just 5-10 minutes on the next one, just to do a kind of a wrap up on that, if that's good. Joe, obviously this was your thing. You did it. So either from a takeaway or what you wanted to get out of this topic, is this given what you want?
Yeah, I the reason I want to do it is because I really wanted to, one, I've done it myself a few times. and I wanted to show, obviously, I wanted to help Ryan out. That was my intention, and to help our audience out. So this is something you can replay, and you can copy those questions, just those basic questions. I mean, there are some extra ones, but those questions are really set. So you can do this. I've given you this as a tool that you can actually use yourself. You just need 2 people to do. So my takeaway from this is just to, if you want to see really a perspective from someone else, is try this model to see it from that position and be blunt, almost like be brutally honest from that position, so you get the most out of it.
Perfect. That's good. And Ryan, for yourself.
I think my takeaway is trying to find, as I said a minute ago, trying to find people that I can kind of bounce those things off of in a more consistent way than what I currently have.
I think that's it's always good just to have those people you can rely on for that.
I've got people that,
I think that's really good.
I've got people that will have a moan about work and life, as we always have. There are always people that I'm sure you both have it at your levels and where you work, where people will just call you and be like, "Cool, this is what that Lee's got us to do is terrible, isn't it?" And then we laugh about it and go, "Ha ha ha, yeah," and then we do it or whatever. But I don't feel like I have somebody that I can call up and say, "Look, I've had this," and trust that it will stay in the strictest of confidences as well. I think that's probably what I was getting at when I said I don't have somebody that I kind of respect in that manner. And I do respect the people that I talk to. If they ever hear this, I genuinely do. It's just I don't have somebody that I feel I have the full confidence of. So yeah, that's mine.
You know what? That's a brilliant takeaway. Like to realise that that's what you need to find. And that would be a great action for you to take away, to actually try and find that person.
And you do have to be careful with that. It's just with your opinions and sharing them, being open. But no, I think that's really good. Again, thank you very much. Well, both of you, Joe for the subject, Brian for the participation. Very brave to do that. It's really good.
Thanks,
everyone, of course, we thank you for watching, downloading, listening. Check us out social media at Listen to IN, Listen TOIN, and head over to InspirationNation.org.uk for all your pod merchandise. Quick mug shot for the camera.
Oh, I ain't got my mug.
He's out.
IN, no, I've got the hoodie.
That's it. Hoodies, it's all over there. We'll be next week, guys. We're looking forward to this. We're going to do a Christmas special. We won't give too many details, but we will be back next week for you all. All that's left for me to do now, I think, is to count us down. Say 3, 2, 1. Inspiration Nation.
Catch you guys later.
So I want to know now, what's your biggest takeaway? Don't forget to hashtag it with Inspiration Nation in the comments below, and make sure you commit to action. Thank you for checking it out. So don't forget to catch all our other Inspiration Nation podcast episodes right over here. So go check them out. And also, don't forget to subscribe, because that will tell you when your next video goes live by you hitting that amazing bell. So until next time, it's Inspiration Nation, and I'll see you right over there.